Although the New York Liberty have the best record in the Eastern Conference, it's not as if they needed any more motivation going into Sunday's game against the Seattle Storm. But having one of the franchise's all-time great players come back to MSG to be honored certainly didn't hurt. The New York Liberty improved to 13-6 on this season with a 78-62 win over the Seattle Storm here from the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden in New York City. The player coming back to be honored, Becky Hammon, one of the all-time greats in New York Liberty history and WNBA history, and a championship-winning head coach for the San Antonio Spurs Summer League team in this summer. She came back to be inducted into the New York Liberty's Ring of Honor, and the players currently on the New York Liberty team definitely did her a service by coming away with the win here today. It was a slow start for the New York Liberty. They only had a 1-point lead going into halftime, but coming out in the second half, they started the second half on a 13-0 run, and it didn't matter whether it was the first quarter or the fourth quarter. Tina Charles was on all game long. The WNBA All-Star, 29 points in this contest, one shy of a season high for Tina Charles. She was one of 4 players to score in double figures. 2 of those players came off the bench. Essence Carson had 11 points, and Candice Wiggins, playing the most minutes of any game this season for her, she had 10 points in the ball game, 4 assists, and a couple of 3-pointers. And after the game, we got a chance to talk with and catch up with Candice Wiggins, and I asked her to begin our conversation what was said in the locker room for the Liberty to come out a house of fire in the second half and start off the second half with that 13-0 run.
You know, it wasn't a lot to be said. We kind of already knew what we needed to do, and we just needed to put the hammer down. You know, and we just, we knew what this team was capable of because we kind of had a lapse at Seattle. So we just made sure that we just, tried not to do the same things, but. It was really just it's our team. It's the culture that we have. We know coming out of the locker room that first 5 minutes, and we just discussed it. But there's nothing you could say. At the end of the day, you can say whatever you want, but you gotta go out there and do it. And that's what they did. They just started us off and did it.
Be honest, you were inspired by all the roars you heard here in the locker room for the Becky Hammon Ring of Honor ceremony. Is that right? Come on.
Actually, I kind of was, and I have to say, Becky, we had dinner with her last night, and she was able to share with us just, kind of her journey, of going undrafted and then, climbing the ranks in the Liberty. And, obviously now we know of her as the, coach for the Spurs, but it was so inspiring for her, for me especially, because she was just talking about how no matter how many minutes you have or whatever opportunities you get, you make the most out of whatever opportunity. And so that's really what clung for me, was just making the most out of it. And I think we were really inspired by the our history, our past, the players who played here. This is a very huge honor. So, I mean, yes, the energy in the building with Becky, but for me, it's her story that really inspires me.
Speaking of minutes, no matter the minutes, today you had the most minutes of any game that you played this year. It's 22 minutes, 10 points, 4 assists as well, a couple of 3-pointers. It seemed as if more than any other game, you're always ready to play in a basketball game, but what was different about this game today where you did such a great job and had such a great impact on today's game?
I'm not sure. I think I just, I was just ready today. I've been wanting to have like a breakout game specifically here at the Garden, and I know when Sugar Rogers being out today, I knew I had to kind of step up in that role because the team needed me. I wish I would have made a couple more shots. I probably should have, but I was just really looking to be aggressive and just being on the bench. You can kind of see what the team needs, what needs to be out there, and I knew that we hit a couple of threes. I get to the basket, maybe I can help get us in some sort of flow. So it's just really about being able to be dependent upon, and I want my teammates to trust me that I'll knock down that shot. But I'm surrounded by incredible players, so it's no pressure on me.
How important was it to get back on the winning track? 5 in a row, 8 out of 9. You lose in Indiana. How important was it just to get that winning feeling back?
Oh, it was so important. We had to get this one, and we have to keep that going, because this is a league where at any given moment it could change. Momentum could change. So we have to make sure that we weren't gonna, because Seattle, they're a tough team. If you allow them to kind of get in there, they can. So we just had to make sure that we set a tone, and I think we did a really good job of that.
Not too long ago, you had the braids going, and now you have the hair unbraided with the green. Tell me, as a Stanford Cardinal, you have that green because of the University of Oregon, right?
Oh, absolutely not. This actually, I visited the Statue of Liberty not that long ago, like a couple months ago or a month ago, and I was so inspired. I was like, I gotta go, Lady Liberty. This is Lady Liberty.
That's the Lady Liberty look.
Process, yes. It was actually a very long process to get this color too. It was kind of the same process that the Statue of Liberty took. You has to oxidize the hair, and so it was like all these processes. So I really, I just am so inspired by this city, and especially the iconic symbol and the Statue of Liberty, and I just kind of wanted to have fun with that.
So you have to buy a torch now, right?
Yes, I do.
Candice Wiggins, thank you so very much. Liberty with a win once again, 13-6 on the season. Candice, thank you so very much for the time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
For the Seattle Storm, it was a very unpleasant homecoming for New York City native Sue Bird. She did lead the team in scoring 14 points, but she was only one of 2 players in double figures in scoring for the Seattle Storm. Seattle drops to 5-16 on the season, and right now are 2 games back of the San Antonio Stars for the 4th and final playoff spot in the Western Conference in the WNBA. So stay tuned to A Lot of Sports Talk and ALotofSportsTalk.com, where we will have full coverage of 2015 Big Ten football media days from Chicago. We were in Chicago earlier this week, and we talked with more than 15 players and head coaches as the 2015 college football season is just around the corner. So we will have that for you on ALotofSportsTalk.com. Also, stay tuned for episode number 21 of the A Lot of Sports Talk podcast. It'll be all baseball. We'll talk some Houston Astros. We'll talk some Pittsburgh Pirates. All baseball on episode number 21 of the A Lot of Sports Talk podcast. So once again, our final score, the New York Liberty now 13-6 on the season after a 78-62 win over the Seattle Storm. From the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden, my name is Adeshina Koike for ALotofSportsTalk.com.